welcome to my channel. The normal content you can find on my channel is usually, well, not really anything, but I want to talk to you about the Gibson mod shop and the pros and cons of what Gibson's been doing, plus show off a Gibson mod shop guitar that I bought not too long ago, because I haven't really seen any videos out there that are just showing the detail of the exterior of the guitar. I'm not going to break it down, I'm not going to pull the pickups out, and I'm not going to do a plain demo for you, measure anything. Trogley's Guitar Show does a very good job of that on its own, and he does do a very good job of that too. So let's talk about the Gibson Mod Shop and all the controversy surrounding that entity. So basically what we have is the Gibson Modification Shop is a place where Gibson sends their factory seconds, their demo guitars, other stuff that they deem to not be releasable to the public or doesn't meet even their quality control, and we'll talk about that too. But yeah, it's where they send, guitars that are on showroom floors that get played by potential customers and factory seconds and other things for these guys to just take and turn them loose on these things and see what kind of crazy ideas they can come up with. So yeah, I'll go over both arguments to that. And the first argument is, like everything else, this is a new way Gibson has found to rip off their customers. They take guitars, maybe slap some new hardware on there, put a mod stamp in the back of the headstock, and sell it at a premium to jack the price up. Or they might do a custom finish, or maybe switch out the electronics, or maybe the hardware too. Maybe the neck, maybe the headstock, maybe both. And they put a mod stamp on the back of the headstock and sell it for a premium. And that's absolutely true. That's what they're doing. The other side of the argument, which I tend to get behind a little bit more, is that these guys are creating one-off, unique, and in some cases very cool guitars. Not everyone can afford a custom shop guitar or to go to the Gibson factory to get a made-to-measure guitar exactly the way they want it. I want this top, these pickups, this hardware, an ebony fretboard, medium jumbo frets, Clusen Deluxe tuners, blah, 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 blah. Most people can't afford that. I've been fortunate or blessed, or both in my life, to own between 30 and 40 Gibson Les Pauls. Everything from standards to customs, to custom shops, to R8s, R9s, ROs, and I've even had a classic. And it doesn't matter what era we're talking about as far as quality control goes. I've owned 2 or 3 Norland era guitars, and the quality control is hit or miss on those. I've owned guitars from the 90s, from the 2000s, 2010s, into this decade, and quality control is, it goes from atrocious to very, very good and points in between. And usually it leans more towards atrocious than very, very good. And that's been a problem with Gibson for decades, like I said. And again, other than Trogley's Guitar Show, I have not seen anybody really do a video showing a close-up of a mod shop guitar. And that's what I wanted to do, so you can make your own determination whether it's worth your money to buy these guitars or not. Now, I will say, anybody that has, or especially has not been on that website every Wednesday morning, you have but a few seconds to look at guitars, read the specs, get into your cart, and check out as quickly as possible before you get the whole, sorry, someone beat you to the checkout line and we're out of stock type thing. That's not really the best way to hunt for guitars, going off looks alone or just specs alone. It's really a feeding frenzy on there, and which I kind of like, but I wouldn't advise, if you're buying your first guitar or just getting into it, I wouldn't advise that that's the place to go. Maybe go to the demo shop, which is on Reverb, Gibson's demo shop, where the guitars have come off different shops' floors. They were played again by potential customers. Sometimes they do a little bit of modification to the guitars here and there, but generally they have blemishes, they have flaws. They sell them a little bit cheaper than they would be. You know, say a brand new standard would go for $27.99. They might have it for $21.99 or lower than that. So that's a good place to look for a guitar. Of course, always going into a shop, if that's possible, to try out different guitars to see which one that suits you is the best possible scenario. Not everybody has access to that, which is why so many of us buy guitars online. And I don't buy and sell to make a living. I'll buy a guitar, play it for a while. If I like it, I'll keep it and it goes into my collection. If I don't, I sell it and it goes away to someone else. And that's what I do. But I don't do it to make extra money. You know, that's not an income for me. It's not a second income for me. So I don't have any vested interest in what different shops on Reverb are doing as far as taking guitars and marking them up. Again, you can find some really cool stuff on Gibson's modification shop. I mean, these guys come up with crazy stuff. You know, if you haven't seen it, a couple weeks ago, they did a Purple Sparkle Flying V with a Les Paul headstock on it. Actually, it had the crown instead of the Les Paul on there. And it had a baritone control and a Bigsby on it, which is, I mean, it was pretty crazy looking. Another one I've seen on there was a white Firebird 12-string. They made it into a 12-string, and it had hot rod inspired pinstriping done on it. I thought that was a pretty cool guitar. I'm trying to think of some other ones they've done that were just really cool. They did a Gold Explorer that, I don't know if you can see this, but so it has a regular 6-string, and then below the stop bar tailpiece, it looks like there's a Firebird pickup right here, and then there's 6 more tuners down here going across in line with the cut of the Explorer. And I don't know if that's just to pick up the resonance of the guitar. I don't know if it can be strung up as a 12-string also. But you know, that's pretty crazy too. You know, have they done some things that weren't worth the money they were asking for? Yeah, absolutely. Some boring finishes. I personally don't like satin finishes. That doesn't excite me. I like gloss. I like glossy finishes. They did a glossy finish with a satin neck. That'd be perfect for me because I love a satin neck. I don't like the just kind of bare wood with a little bit of oil rub into the neck or a painted neck. I love a satin neck, especially when your hands get sweaty. It doesn't seem to stick like it would on a gloss neck. But so the mod shop has done some guitars that, you know, were kind of boring, but they've done some really cool stuff too. And again, this is like one-off stuff. And the guitar I'm about to show you was priced for $22.99 during the week of August 29th. And man, I tried as fast as I could. I got that guitar. I saw the finish. I read the specs real quick, got it into my cart, started entering my payment information, hit the checkout. Sorry, you know, you were too late. Somebody else had gotten it before me. And, you know, I was really bummed out because I was like, God, you know, I really finally found a guitar that I wanted, that I didn't think was overpriced. Matter of fact, it was underpriced in my opinion when I show you what it is, see if you agree. And somebody else beat me to it. So I was going, oh man, please let this show up on Reverb, so I'll get another chance to buy it. And so I watched for a few days, and sure enough, it did show up on Reverb. The guy that I bought it from, his name is Marty, and he has a shop on there called The Good Stuff, where he buys and sells a lot of the Mod Collection guitars. Of course, he is in the business of making money from buying and selling guitars, so he had added his own premium to it, which wasn't outrageous. I felt like I got a good deal on it. Still, I paid a little bit over $3,000 for it, and I still think it was a hell of a deal considering all the mods that were done to this. So what I want to do is, after talking about that, it's let me take you over and show you the guitar. Well, first let's go over the case candy. I need to put on my spectacles. This is one of the things that you get to look forward to if you're younger. When you get older, is wearing glasses because you can't see up close as well as you used to. Okay, so coming from Marty's shop, which is essentially, he got it in the day that I saw it, I bought it, he shipped it out to me the next day. It was packed really well. He loosened the strings, everything was great. Okay, so what comes in this case? Okay, you get your Gibson limited warranty, which you get with every new Gibson guitar that you buy, or any mod or demo shop guitars that you buy. And it just tells you what's covered, what is not covered. Nothing too exciting there. In this envelope, which probably only comes with the mod shop and demo shop stuff, is a warranty evaluation. So what they do is they fill out what is called an aftermarket certification and warranty evaluation, and they give it a score out of 5. So this got a score of 3.9 and fair, which to me is pretty conservative. I have to say, as far as the quality control on this guitar goes, it's actually very, very good, which I was happy about. And again, we've talked about Gibson's quality control or lack thereof, and you just cross your fingers and hope for the best. And they list on here what they found was wrong with it. Top surface, light scratches throughout. Okay, back surface, small specks of trash near upper bout. Headstock, light scuffing throughout, finish repair at low E tuner near screw. Binding condition, which we have, if I move my finger, uneven scraping throughout. Okay, so that comes in there. Gibson Gold Warranty, which they want you to fill out your name, address, serial number, date purchased, blah, 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 mail it in, probably so they can, besides registering it, send you junk mail, or if it's an option, register it online, and then they can send you junk email, okay? You get your Gibson COA, and it's not a booklet. It has this on one side, has that on the other side. So, boom, boom, okay? In your Gibson bag, you get the owner's manual. It's very exciting. You get a good Gibson polishing cloth. The polishing cloths, as of recent, in the past few years, were not very good, especially the black ones. I wouldn't advise using those. I'm not going to use this because this is every bit as good as what I keep on my own workbench, so it's just going to stay in its Ziploc bag here. Okay, you get the Gibson strap, which, it's nice to get a strap included if you don't have one. These to me are really flimsy and cheap. I don't know if this is even a real leather. It may be imitation leather. If you're going to buy a guitar that's over $200, maybe spend the money, a little extra, and get a decent strap for your guitar. I'm just going to leave this in the pocket. This would probably work, but with as expensive as some of these guitars are, I don't want to find out just how durable it is not. Okay? You get your Gibson multi-tool, and this is for, You have a wrench head for loosening the truss rod nut. You have hex keys in here. You have flathead and Phillips head screwdrivers. Put that out of the way. You have your case keys, and these are the strap buttons that originally came on the guitar. I've already replaced them with shallower strap locks. I've used those for a lot of years and I trust them. So let's get that. Let me get all this out of the way here so I can show you the piece de resistance that's in the case. That, and this. Okay. One thing I do want to say, I'm not a case expert. I've actually learned a lot about cases from watching Mr. Trogley's show, but I do like these latches they're using. They seem a lot beefier than what I've seen in the past. I know this case was, made in Canada because I already checked the pocket. It's better than a lot of cases I've seen. It doesn't have a lot of give up here, and it shouldn't, because you want it to actually protect the guitar. Are they as good as the old style chainsaw type cases? No. You could probably put a guitar in one of those, throw it over Niagara Falls, it would float up to shore, in tune, you could pull it out and just do a gig with it. I mean, those things are definitely made to last. So here's what I got from the mod shop via the Good Stuff shop on Reverb. It is a Les Paul Standard in New Moon Burst. Now, the pictures that they use on the mod and demo shops, the photos of the guitars are not very good at all. You can hardly see any detail. It doesn't matter if you zoom in on the photo, it doesn't matter. I don't know if they need a new photographer. The photographer needs a new camera, both, a new backdrop, I don't know. So when I saw this guitar, I saw the white and kind of silver perimeter going around it, and to me it looked like it was just a solid gray finish. I did not see, let me get the right angle here, that it had metal flake in it. Didn't see that at all. And when I pull it out, you'll see that it's really not a dark gray. It's a different color. But so let me show you what we have here. Okay. Well, actually, from that angle, you can kind of see it. It's kind of a goldish metal flake with a little bit of green in it. It's more gold than green. But you've got your stop bar tailpiece, you've got your tune-o-matic bridge, you've got, I think they put these 60 style reflector knobs on here with thumb bleeders, clear pick guard, chrome pickup rings, radiator style pickup covers. They did not put a poker chip on your selector switch. Matter of fact, one didn't even come with it, and even if it had, I wouldn't have put it on there. Moving up to the headstock, you've got a blank truss rod cover. Let me lift it out of the case here. On the back, you have black locking Grover tuners. And let me set this over here so I can get this case off of here. I apologize to you guys. I am not a videographer, and I don't edit videos. That's another benefit of getting older. It's like no matter how much you knew about technology when you were younger, as you get older, you just start to really not know too much about the newer technology. So let me put this back on my workbench here so we can really take a look at it. So again, like I showed you, you can really see, well, let me hold it up here towards the light. I mean, from that angle, it does look like it's just kind of gray. But let me see if I can get the headstock. So you can see that the headstock, that's really some gold in there. And that's what the rest of the body looks like too. Now, having seen what Gibson's quality control and workmanship is not capable of doing, I went over this with a pretty fine-tooth comb. And I'm happy to say that I found very, very few flaws in this. The finish looks really good. I didn't see any, I don't see any weird holes drilled in this with a custom-made plastic insert in there. I don't see any gouges or where somebody slipped with a screwdriver. I don't see any of that. I'm looking at the fretboard, and this one needs to be conditioned, by the way. It gets really dry here in Idaho, so I try to keep my fretboards conditioned all the time. But looking at this, I mean, you guys have seen on different shows, and I don't know what they use to smooth this wood out or even it out. If it's a Dremel tool where they get these big gouges in the wood, or on the side here where they tear into the frets, or even the binding on the side. This actually has the binding going on up over the ends of the frets here. But I don't see any of that on here. And I've looked really, really closely. The nut looks like it was cut pretty well. The truss rod was installed straight. There's no dings on the top of the headstock that you can see. Going over to the back, which I also looked at very closely, it looks like the cavity control covers fit very well. I didn't see any major scratches or buckle rash or anything. Whoever did this did a very good job. I want to give you props. You did a very good job. The only thing I found is right in here. And again, I don't know if this is small drips of paint. I don't know if there was debris there that got sprayed over. I'm not really sure what that is. I don't want to pick at it and find out, but the neck looks really good. To keep focusing in on my other guitars. The neck looks really good. Got your mod stamp right there, made in USA. Serial number. Again, I've looked at the sides for any of those scratches that you tend to see in the binding here. And again, I don't know if it's from a Dremel tool. I would imagine that's what they use. But I was really surprised at how good the quality control was on this. So in my opinion, this guitar is worth even what I paid for it, having to buy it from a second party. Are all mod shop guitars like that? I don't know. This is the first one I've had. But again, this is something unique and something that no one else has, and I like that. I like having stuff that no one else has. Again, they're one-off, unique, and in many cases, very cool guitars. When they do it right, when they don't rush and the QC is overlooked, you can get some really cool stuff that, no, it's not, it doesn't come from the custom shop, or it's not a made-to-measure guitar. But like I said earlier, not everyone can afford that. And so if you're wanting a unique guitar, and again, this one was priced at $22.99, and let's look at my Les Paul Standard over here, my Lemon Burst, which has got a beautifully flame top, okay? This is a 2021, the same as the Mod Shop guitar I have. I paid $25.99 for it before they adjusted their prices, I guess. But now they're going for $27.99. I love Lemon Bursts, but you can find these all day long. We love, the different burst finishes, the cherry sunburst, the tobacco bursts, the factory burst, the vintage sunbursts, and the flame tops. And I get that. I love that stuff too. I mean, I have some of that. Not that, that's a Koa wood top, but this is an RO, an R9, and one of my favorite guitars. This is an R8 from 2002, which is kind of unusual because it has a flame top, and it just sounds really good, and everything's already started to yellow on it. You know, that's a really good guitar. But, you know, I love these finishes too, but you can see these all day long. To me, it has to be something really unique, something that stands out that makes me want it, you know. And this is a guitar that stood out to me and really made me want it. And luckily, the guy that bought it, like I said earlier, buys and sells on Reverb, so I was able to get it from him. And even having to pay his premium, I thought I got a great deal. So hopefully, having seen this and listened to a little bit about what the mod shop does, and what their primary purpose is, what their you know, what it was created for, hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight that I don't feel like they're really trying to rip off their customers. I think they're coming out with some really unique things that are cool. Do they hit the mark every time? No. Matter of fact, and for me, and we all have different tastes, but for me, they fail to hit the mark just as far as creating something really unique, more than they hit it. But that's all I wanted to show you, you know. And this, I've got about 2 hours of playing time on this. It sounds really, really good. It looks good. So maybe if you get on there Wednesday mornings, if you're looking for something special and don't want to pay or can't pay $8,000, maybe you'll find something special. So in that regard, I hope you learned something a little bit, and I was able to ease your mind a little bit as far as what you can get. No, that's not a scratch, that's my reflection. So anyhow, that is the end of this video, and I wish you guys all the best. You know, buy some great guitars and take care.